Hello, loves. It's your girl, Reese Reviews. Welcome home, where today we'll be discussing Love and Marriage Huntsville, Season 8, Episode 5, Waiting to Ex-Wife. So, we start the episode off where we last left off in Episode 4, Moses and Destiny. So, they're having a discussion of sorts, and we go to the part where she basically is calling him a liar and telling him, look, like all these things that have gone on can be seen. And he's like, well, pull it up then. She's like, oh, you trying to play with me? Don't forget I'm still her. And he was like, and I'm still him. They match each other's energy, and you could definitely see that they both were very, very hurt. Destiny also lets him know that she was there for him. Every other weekend, she was flying out to St. Louis to be with him. And he basically was like, yeah, but when my birthday came, and everything stems from his birthday. So that birthday must have meant the absolute world to this man, because he keeps bringing up his birthday over and over again in relation to why him and Destiny are no longer talking. She said that she had to pay the bills and he wasn't paying her bills. She had to pay them. He said that he was paying for her to come out to St. Louis, flying her out and stuff. But he stopped showing up as a man for her, which is what she said. She's upset that he named his business Lord Justice, and Justice is the name of the baby that they plan to have. So again, this whole side chick talk of Destiny being side chick, never the case. You don't plan children with your side chick. You just don't do it. Like, there's no man sitting up talking about, I'm just smashing her and y'all picking out baby names. Like, it doesn't work that way. So this whole side chick stuff is already debunked. It's not side chick energy. Especially because he was a single man, because he wasn't married during their last stint. He wasn't a married man. So let's not play. After she got divorced from LeBerick and he got divorced from his wife, they were in a relationship. They weren't in a side chicktivity, whatever y'all talk about. He told her that the weight that she was carrying was too much. And he was right about that. She had a lot going on. So if he said that to her, which, is what Destiny said that he said to her, he wouldn't be lying, because Destiny, you did have a lot going on at that time. I mean, come on, your situation was very traumatic. You went through a really bad breakup. And she's basically saying, well, you knew this when you spun the block. When you started talking to me again, you already knew what I came with. And you said that you was going to do it. You said you was going to step up. And then you started falling off. I'm not understanding why he never came to see Destiny. Why was Destiny always the one having to come see him? That part I didn't really get. But, I don't really know of the behind the scenes situation that's going on with them. But it seemed very one-sided. Like, even though he was helping her out, it seemed like she had to do most of the moves. And I feel like a man is a pursuer. That's just how I take it. That's how I think about things. So maybe it could have been, to the effect where he just wasn't able to travel outside state lines and she had to go see him, which is understandable if that's the case. But, you never really know. You never really know. But she was the one going out to see him, and she said that he just fell off. And he says, financially wise, you wasn't in a good place. It's the wording for me. Financially wise is insane. Oh my God, that is so funny. Financially wise is literally insane. But anyway, but for him to try to say that him and Sunny had her best interest at heart for not hooking up while they was working together is weird, because that just makes it seem like was talking to her. You've been talking to her, or you already had interest in her, or you was planning to talk to her anyway, but you cooled it off or whatever. Like, that's how you're making it seem. The wording is just making it seem that way, Moses. But then we're gonna go to the part where she basically was saying, look, at the end of the day, it is what it is. You and her together in your relationship. I shouldn't have found out 2 days before the wedding that y'all was in a relationship. And if that's the case and you sent her, because she's saying that Sunny is the one who sent her the message saying that they're in a relationship and it's getting serious. For that message to be sent 2 days before they get married is crazy. It's insane, especially because both parties know her. Both parties have dealings with her. And the person that have known her for those 15 years, which is Moses, should have definitely told her way before, 2 days before he got married, that he was dating Sunny. That's insane. Especially if they were talking, because his birthday's in April. So from April to August, they were still talking. They were still interacting with each other. So from April to August, y'all still interacting. You get married in December. So from August to December, you had from August to December to tell her that you were dating Sunny. And you waited until 2 days before your wedding to tell her? Yeah, that's diabolical. Anybody would have been livid. Because the issue is not moving on and getting married. The issue is you played in my face. You played in my face. Because now I'm going to think you been was talking to her. Y'all been was playing me behind my back because I had dealings with both y'all. So yeah, I definitely understand her going off and being upset and wanted to basically talk about it. She has all right to be in her feelings about the situation. Will it change anything going forward? No. But should she get it out? Absolutely. She has a right to her story just like everybody else. She dismissed him and said, you wanted to be my girlfriend. And I mean, I honestly, yeah, it's giving very much. He wanted to be wooed and pursued. With the words that he said, she didn't step up. She didn't do enough. Yeah, it seems like he did want to be wooed. But at the end of the day, Destiny, in this case, you dodged a bullet because, listen, how you get them is how you lose them. Moving on to the next scene. In the next scene, we see Tisha. Tisha is meeting up with Trish for the first time for training. I know that Tisha said in her confessional that she had only seen Trish twice. She said once at the gym and once at Black. I'm trying to figure out how often does Tisha go to her own establishment, because Trish and Ken in the previous episode were saying that they go to Black very often. So if she's only met them once at Black or met Trish once at Black, how many times does she go to her own establishment? Or is the rumors true that Black is only open when they're filming or when they're about to have some type of public event? I don't know, but you guys let me know in the chat if you guys are from the area, if Black is open all the time or not, because these blogs are saying that this place is really not open for real. And based on her saying that she only met somebody once in her own establishment who states that they frequent that establishment very often is very, very, very weird and suspect. So when Tisha gets in, she sees that Trish is training and she's like, okay, body, I'm not doing that. Tisha is literally me in that situation because, baby, it looked cute. And then when you got your gym clothes on, it's like motivation time, and then you see people going in and you just like, I could watch it. Trisha starts to train Tisha and she's working muscles she ain't never worked before, because she's like, am I doing this right? It kind of feel, and Trisha's letting her know, just keep going. And Tisha needs a break. So as she takes her break, she asks Trisha if she's originally from Huntsville. Trisha says, yes, she's from Huntsville. So, okay, so you know Martell? She said, I went to school with Martell's brother. Tisha goes on to say that she actually met Martell in college, and she was told that Martell was the good brother and that the older brother, Hope, was the bad brother. And Trisha's just like, I mean, maybe when he got to college, I mean, he wasn't bad, but he wasn't that prepster type guy that he is right now. So then Tisha is like, oh, okay, so does your husband know Martell? And she says no. Her husband is not originally from Huntsville, but he does know. And then Tisha cuts her off and says, oh, Marceau knows your husband. And Trisha goes, Marceau knows my ex-husband. Girl, he's not your ex-husband. Girl, he's your husband. He's not your ex-husband. When she said he knows my ex-husband, I was like, what? Because didn't you just say you're not divorced? Then she goes on to say, well, he knows my ex-husband, but he's know my future, current future. She was fumbling all over her words with that. And so teacher's like, oh, okay, so you're engaged. She's like, well, I'm not really quite divorced. Like, girl, what? So why are you referring to this man as your ex-husband? He's not your ex-husband. He's your husband. He's your husband. So teacher goes, oh, so you got a situationship. And Trisha's like, yeah, I like that. No, you should not like it, ma'am. You should not like it. You should not like it at all. So Tisha wants to know, why is it taking so long for the divorce papers? And she's just like, I don't know. For first, we weren't talking at all. And that's so crazy because we got 2 kids. But once we did start talking, we just dismissed it. And Tisha in her confessional was like, girl, your husband don't want to divorce you, girl. 5 years and you haven't gotten a divorce. He don't want to divorce you. He don't want it. And I'm starting to think I'm starting to think Trisha don't want it either, because she says, oh, hopefully. What's the hopefully? You have a whole nother man that you're calling your husband. You're practically saying that Ken is your husband, even though you're not even engaged. He's not even your fiance. You're basically living like husband and wife when you're already a wife to somebody else. And you're not trying to get a divorce so that you can move on and be in a long-lasting, loving, married relationship with the man that you claim that you want to marry. That's weird to me. There's got to be something behind the scenes that's going on as to why this lady has not signed the divorce papers, why the divorce papers are not even initiated. Because you said that you talked about the divorce. You never mentioned paperwork, because there is no paperwork. Oh boy. Tisha basically goes down the list, says that she should do a whole couples workout session so she can meet all the couples, and then she goes over the people that she does know. She does know Destiny, she knows moving right along, and then she asked her if she knows Stormy. She said, yeah, me and Stormy are good friends. And Tisha's like, I need to get another trainer. And she was like, no. Trisha was like, no. I talked to Stormy. Me and her had drinks the other day. I was trying to get a feel for you. But I wanted to, meet you and train you. And basically, she wanted to get her own account of how Tisha is. She didn't want to take on what Stormy felt. And that's actually what Stormy told her, too. Stormy told her that she would be a really dope person. It's Marceau that's the issue. Okay? So, basically, they're going to exchange information so that Tisha could get her body right and tight, all right? And now we're going to move on to the next scene. In the next scene, we see Melody. Melody is in her pink PJs because she's having a ladies' night, and all of them have, coordinating PJs and things like that. Kind of looks like a Galentine's type of event. So she has her friends come in and they get dressed into their PJs, the ones that were not, and they come into this room that's filled with pictures of them, and she just wants to give back to her friends, her really close friends that are single, her single friends. She wants to be in a space where she's with people who are single as well, because, they know the vibes. They know what it feels like to be in single in her shoes. So they kind of go over what they expect the night to be. Dr. Shanita does a toast, and then they move from there. So they basically speak on Mel and her dating situation and how she's very, very picky with who she decides to date and things of that nature. She pretty much stated that Mel needs to kind of lower her expectations. That I do not agree with. I, for one, have been in situations where I have dumbed myself down or went with people that I normally would not go with, only because I wanted to venture outside of the box and maybe giving people the benefit of the doubt. I've learned the hardest lesson ever, and that is, you have your standards, you have your expectations, set them and do not waver. Because once you start letting anything slide, it's a tumble from there. Don't ever lower your standards for anyone. Keep your standards. That's period. If that's something you don't want, don't settle for what you don't want, because you don't want to be anybody's settle. So why would you settle with anybody you don't want to be with if you would not want the same for yourself? So only aim for the best of the best. That's my opinion. But she's basically talking about a man that was missing a side tooth. And a man that was dressed in grandpa slacks or whatever. And I mean, she ultimately ended up with saying, she's not ready yet. She's still healing. She's dealing with her ex-husband who was unhinged. She doesn't know what he's gonna do next. Last time she dated, he showed up at the restaurant and they were already divorced. He showed up at the restaurant videotaping her in the restaurant with the man that she was on a date with. And this is after the divorce was finalized. And then Dr. Sharnita then asks, after they switched to dinner, Dr. Sharnita then asks, like, do you feel like other people are also hindering the ability for you to move forward? And she states yes. And Dr. Sharnita basically said, you need to remove yourself. People need to pick a side. You need to kind of remove yourself from wherever table that they're inviting him to, because it's only going to hurt you. It's going to hinder you. If it's not an environment you feel like you should be in, then remove yourself or remove those people. And honestly, I agree. If you have friends and your friends are also friends with people who you don't like, and the people who don't like you, or they're always putting you in hostile environments, you do have the ability to back away. People could be friends with whoever they want to be friends with in the same regard. But if you don't want to be around, they constantly keep bringing you around the same person that's dragging you to hell. At some point, you just gotta be like, nah, and remove yourself. So moving on to the next scene. In this scene, we're at Stormy's house. Stormy and Trisha are sitting down and they're talking. She got rose petals on the floor in the background. I'm just like, what in the world does she have rose petals for? But she has another visitor that's coming. In walks Martell. Martell asks the same thing. Like, what is going on with these rose petals? She's like, you gonna see why I invited you here. As they get to the couch that Trisha's already sitting on, Martell goes, hey, how you doing? I'm Martell. Nice to meet you. And Trisha's like, okay, nice to meet you. And they look very awkward. He gives Stormy a bottle of his Inest wine, or Inest wine. And he asks, how the baby is doing. And Stormy said the baby's with Courtney right now, getting on Courtney's nerves, and she loves it. So Stormy said, well, you know Trish, right? And he was like, huh? Have we met before? Martell is acting like his normal self. Clueless. He always acts like he don't know a daggone thing. He acts like he's dunce. And he's pretending as if he don't know her. And she starts to say she getting furious because why is he acting like he doesn't know her? And so Trish goes, oh, so how's Taz? And he's like, oh, you know my brother? Knowing full well that he knows his girl already. In what capacity? I really don't know, but it's giving. They definitely hooked up before. It's very much giving that. She's like, yes, I know your brother. He's like, yeah. And the story's like, what is going on? He was like, oh yeah, no. She went to school with Taz. So if you knew that she went to school with Taz, why not just say, oh yeah, Taz is doing good. Or if you didn't recognize her at first, you could have just said, oh yeah, I didn't really recognize you. But yeah, I know her. Yeah, she used to go to school with Taz. And you could have just kept it at that. Now you want to allude to, oh, now people is going to start thinking that we, that's what you want people to think, right? You wanted the cat to be out the bag, correct? She'd been saying from the beginning that she knew Martell and Montez, and her and Montez went to school together. This is back in episode 1, I believe. And even Ken has met Martell as well, because they had seen Martell the other day. And she actually brought that to Stormy, where she was like, after Martell had left, she said that she had already seen Martell a few months back at the Target. And everybody was like, oh, hey, what's up? And now he's acting like he doesn't know her. And she doesn't know why. Basically, Stormy brings them there to ask them both, can she use their bodies for her lovers and friends gala, where she wants to put the body glaze on them and whatever have you not. Martell says his body's not bodying anymore, and but he'll do it for her. He just got to get back in shape, get back in the gym, and um, Trish also agrees to do it, and Martell leaves. That's pretty much the gist of it. After Martell leaves, that's when she's like, well, what's going on? Who did you meet first? And Trish replies to Stormy and says she met Montez first. She said, okay, that tells me all I need to know. But she's like, well, why does he seem like that around you? She's like, I don't know. And then Stormy has the bright idea that Trish should train Martell. Why would you do that? Why would you put yourself in a situation like that? She claims that she does not train any men, but she'll make an exception. Girl, why would you ever do something like that? You already are a married woman living with another man. You can't get married to the man because you're married to another man. Girl, why would you ever put yourself through that situation? She said she gonna do it as an exception to Stormy. Everything is for Stormy. Girl, don't make Stormy send you to hell now. I'm moving on to the next scene. In this next scene, we see Moses and Sunny. Moses and Sunny are meeting up in some type of place. I'm not sure what place it is, but it's some type of place. And they're discussing his sit down with Destiny. I would have in this scene kind of loved to see them in a family type of setting. I'm not saying with their family, but like in a home. Much less meeting up at some type of spot. Because if y'all married and stuff, why can't we see, even if it's a rented house, an Airbnb, something that looked more of a homely type setting to have that type of conversation? Because who normally would have a conversation like that in a place, like in a public, general, common area like that? It just didn't make any sense to me. But maybe they don't, I'm not sure if they live in Huntsville, because I believe that they were in St. Louis. I just want to know what their storyline is going to be, if not mentioning Destiny. Like, what are they on the show for? Are they on the show because of Destiny, or are they on the show for another reason that has anything to do with Huntsville? Because none of them live in Huntsville. So what are they doing there? If not it been for Destiny. I haven't heard anything else besides what's going on with Destiny. So I would like to move on from this Destiny situation when it comes to Moses and Sunny, because we really don't need it. We really don't need it. The situation was whack. They together. Let's move forward and see what they have to offer besides Destiny. But anywho, they sit down, and the first thing that Sunny asks is, what was Destiny wearing? Why do you need to know what Destiny was wearing? The first question that I would have had is, so what was said? Why do you need to know what she's wearing? That just seems like you want to kind of size her up. I feel like that makes you look very insecure, wanting to know what the next person had on. And then you're trying to elaborate. So what is he supposed to tell you? Because this is your man, right? This is your man. And you want your man to go into details about what his ex-girlfriend had on. And then you ask, oh, so she was looking cute? And he said yes. And then your facial expression told it all. Why would you even ask that? Anyways, he basically recaps what was said. She feels like she wasn't being the man for her based on what they had going on. She said she felt like she was stabbed in the back because Sunny was her friend. Here goes Sunny, and we wasn't friends. People use the word friend too loosely. Friend. You don't know anything about me. You don't know this. You don't know that. You don't know my middle name. You don't know my friends. She would have known your friends because she was invited to your surprise birthday party in another country. So she would have known your friends. She would have known some of your family members too. Then we get in confessional, and Sunny's basically like, I was producing Destiny. I was pouring into her. Why are you pouring into somebody when that wasn't your job? Your job was to get information from her, not to pour into her cup. That is friendship behavior. That's not producer behavior. That's friendship behavior. You want to say that's on her, she blurred the line, but you blurred the line because you was the one pouring into her cup. Then you had the audacity to say, well, she's never poured into my cup. We not friends. Okay, so you deemed that she wasn't a friend because she wasn't giving as much in the friendship like you were giving. Because if you're trying to say that this is just some type of producer situation, then the extra stuff that you did had absolutely nothing to do with your job. You did those things out of kindness and developing friendship. You didn't do it out of producer. So let's cut that right there. You're being crazy. Then she's like, oh, well, she was just such side chick. She was getting flown in and flown out. And this is what I'm talking about from the last episode that I recapped, where I was saying that Moses would say certain things to his wife and certain things to Destiny. She's like, oh, you was just getting flown in and flown out, and you was only there on the weekend, while the main one was away. Stop, because that sounds absolutely insane, Sonny. That sounds absolutely insane. Because at that time, you was the one getting information from Destiny, and whatever information you got from Destiny in regards to Moses, how could you say that would, now, if you're pouring into her cup now, how can you say that she was just being flown in and flown out and she was just a side chick while the main chick was there and she's going about this 15-year relationship? Number one, she never said she was in a relationship for 15 years. She said she's known him for 15 years. Complete difference. She said that they did have a relationship prior to her getting married to LeBeric. Then when she got with LeBeric, and they cooled it or whatever, and then when her and LeBeric were over, they rekindled their relationship. She made that very clear. You're the only person talking about 15 years a side chick. And then you want to say that you felt like you was punked when he was trying to talk to you because you knew that he was with Destiny. So if you knew he was with Destiny, how was Destiny the side chick? Stop. Please stop. And he's there nodding his head like, yeah. But in Destiny's face, why you didn't say, oh, well, you was just on the side? Why you didn't say that? Why didn't you blow that spot up? Because you know you couldn't. Because you know there would have been receipts that was a lie and that was cap. When Moses is with Sonny, he refers to Destiny as a side chick. And when he's with Destiny, he refers to Destiny as a relationship. And that right there, the way Moses speaks, though, the selective words that Moses used, even though sometimes out of context, is very telling. But remember, Sonny, just like you said, she was being flown in while the main one was away. Well, how you know that the main one, aka you, when you're away, there's not somebody else being flown in? Let's be real about that. Moses then tells her at the end of that little scene that he wasn't wearing his ring. And Sonny's like, oh, how convenient. So you was looking like you was on a date? Oh, I wasn't looking like I was on a date. He's like, oh, I just wanted to tell you what was going on, so you know what happened. And she's like, well, all we could do is move forward. And he's telling her, oh, I love you. Oh, you better wear your ring. I don't want these hoes saying he ain't got his ring on. Oh, so there's hoes? So there's other hoes. Oh, okay. Well, as long as you know, girl. As long as you know. She then goes, I know you love me because you chose me out of all these other women. That's crazy talk. That is insane, and that is very, very sad. I wouldn't be able to say that with a straight face. That would never come out of my mouth in regards to any man, because that is insane. But we're going to move on to the next scene. In this last scene, we see Ken and Trisha, and it's Trisha's birthday, and he decided to cook her a nice dinner and get her a little present. He states that he's not really good with the whole gift giving thing, but he's trying to make an exception for Trisha. So they sit down at dinner, and he presents to her a bracelet, really pretty, dainty bracelet, and he helps to put it on her wrist. As he's speaking to her about her day, she explains that she went to Stormy's the other day, and that Martell came in and introduced himself as if he didn't know her. And Ken is like, huh? And she's like, yeah, Then when I asked him how's Tez, he asked me, do you know my brother? And that's when Ken is like, well, wait a minute, that's so weird. Because we actually had seen him a lot. We were at his signing party. We was at his party the other day, and you actually know him. I just know him through people. He's actually acting like you was one of his old Crips back in the day. And to that, Trisha's like, yeah, that's weird. Stormy was like, do you know each other? Do you guys not know each other? And I'm like, let me figure out the same thing. I'm trying to figure out the same thing. And so basically Ken says, you need to have a talk with him and kind of figure out why is he doing that. And then after he asked her if she likes the bracelet, she said yes. He then said, I was looking at some other jewelry. Baby, Ken is in love with Trisha, and he is ready to get married. She asked him when he wants to get married, and then he said as soon as the paperwork is signed. And he asked if she talked about it with her ex, and she said no, she hadn't. Ken has reservations at this point, and rightfully so. Like he stated in his confessional, if he was in a marriage that he didn't want to be in, he had to try his hardest and be fast about getting up out of that. And right now his reservation is he feels like Trisha probably does not want the divorce or is dragging her feet in regards to it. And she's pretty much just stuttering and stumbling over her words. And that is the end of the scene. So thank you guys so much for watching. Rate, comment, subscribe. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye.